President Biden's campaign said it best. A feeble and confused Donald Trump spent the Easter holiday spewing unhinged, all caps tirades, attacking America and talking about himself. Just look at this post that Donald Trump made on Easter, and he continued to make post after post just like this. In another post, he attacked Republican Congress member Mike Gallagher, making it clear once again that MAGA wants every single moderate Republican purged from the party. Donald Trump then continued to make posts comparing himself to Jesus, like this post right here where he talks about he goes, the crucifixion of Donald Trump. And then there are other posts where he kind of reposts these articles that right-wing propaganda media makes about him and goes, in a depressing world, we see a Trumpian miracle developing. Or this one, something supernatural is happening, with a photograph of Donald Trump. And as you look through what his cult followers post on his truth media company, whatever they want to call it, just some weird stuff, as well as you look at like who's even on this platform, which, by the way, has like less people view it in a month than people who watch the MeidasTouch YouTube channel in like a 48-hour period here. But just take a look at just some of this weird stuff that his cult followers post, like this one from somebody named Sunny who goes, I'm praying for you, President Trump. And then it's, if you look at it right here, it's Donald Trump with Jesus and then an American flag wrapped around Jesus. Then they post these AI images of Donald Trump and Melania because she wants to be nowhere near him. So his cult followers have to create this weird like AI images. Like, take a look at this one from Patriot for Life. Happy Easter, we wait for your arrival, MAGA. That's a AI image of Donald Trump with Melania. And all the cult followers post this. So like after Donald Trump does one of those all caps tirades, this is what his cult followers respond with. Keep the faith, patriots. Everything will be better when Trumps are back in the White House. And another AI image of Donald Trump with Melania right there. Donald Trump continued to post photographs of himself, and like that are all like whiny. The gag and the goad. Trump should appeal the latest gag order. Just stop whining. Do what you want to do, loser. But as Donald Trump's cult followers post those AI images of Donald Trump and Melania, what was actually going down at Mar-a-Lago was there's Donald Trump and Alina Habba right there, fresh off her trip to St. Bart's, where she got all of her friends these custom-made Dior bags, and she was flaunting how much money Mr. and Mrs. Magadonia had paid her through Trump's political action committees. I think by my last counting, it's over $3.5 million. She returned partying in Mar-a-Lago. By the way, here's a photograph of her and Lara and Kimberly Guilfoyle having the time of their lives in Mar-a-Lago, just knowing that they're grifting off of Mr. and Mrs. Magadonia. But here's the video right here of Donald Trump and Alina Habba. Hat tip to our editors at MeidasTouch.com for finding this post. Here, take a look at this. I suppose we'll take a look at some of these unhinged things that Donald Trump posted, but first let me just share with you what a normal president writes. President Biden posted the following. Jill and I send our warmest wishes to Christians around the world, celebrating the power of hope and the promise of Christ's resurrection this Easter Sunday. As we gather with loved ones, we remember Jesus' sacrifice. We pray for one another and cherish the blessing of the dawn of new possibilities. President Joe Biden. Here's another post from President Biden. Happy Easter, America. May God bless and keep each and every one of you. Here's the official press release from the White House. Jill and I send our warmest wishes to Christians around the world celebrating Easter Sunday. Easter reminds us of the power of hope and the promise of Christ's resurrection. As we gather with loved ones, we remember Jesus' sacrifice. We pray for one another and cherish the blessing of the dawn of new possibilities. And with wars and conflict taking a toll on innocent lives around the world, we renew our commitment to working for peace, security, and dignity for all people, from our family to yours. Happy Easter, and may God bless you. Well, what is MAGA promoting? Donald Trump referring to himself as Jesus, or comparing himself to Jesus, the crucifixion of Donald Trump. You've got Donald Trump and all of the MAGAs and, all of these MAGA evangelicals who are out there, pumping their fists as Donald Trump posts videos of pickup trucks with President Biden hogtied in an image on it. I mean, just real despicable, violent, wannabe authoritarian imagery. And as I mentioned before, you have Donald Trump saying of Republican Congress member Mike Gallagher, Trump calls him a coward. This is one of Donald Trump's first posts on Easter. Never forget our cowards and weaklings. Such a disgrace. And then it's a Washington Examiner story about Republican Congress member Mike Gallagher decision to leave House unchanged despite plea from leadership. And that's what Donald Trump is posting right there. Here's Donald Trump's all caps unhinged tirade. Happy Easter to all, including crooked and corrupt prosecutors and judges that are doing everything possible to interfere with the presidential election of 2024 and put me in prison, including those many people that I completely and totally despise because they want to destroy America, a now failing nation, like deranged Jack Smith, who is evil and sick, Mrs. Phony White Wade, who said she hardly knew special prosecutor, only to find that he spent years loving her. And he puts that in quotes, long before the Georgia persecution of President Trump began, and therapy, and thereby making the case against me null, void. He needs therapy. Making the case null and void and illegal. And lazy on violent crime, Alvin Bragg, who with crooked Joes, DOJ thugs unfairly working in the DA's office, illegally indicted me on a case he never wanted, blah, 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 blah. I mean, what a whiny, petulant little baby he is. I mean, just the ranting and raving like a lunatic. Compare this right here to President Biden, who writes, imagine a world where women could be charged more for preventative services like mammograms, where cancer patients are cut off from insurance halfway through chemo because they'd reached what they call their limit. That's the future Republicans in Congress want to write. Despicable stuff. And President Biden, though, just talking about policy and issues in addition to posting dignified things on Easter. When you see the left and right comparison of what President Biden's saying and what Donald Trump is saying, I mean, the contrast cannot be clearer. And also, I don't know about you, but this reminds me of where were we 4 years ago to this day? 4 years ago today, as Americans were dying from Trump's failed pandemic response, Trump went on TV to brag about his press briefing ratings. Remember this? I do. Play this clip.
See you tomorrow. Is that okay? Don't say that I cut it short. They'll say he. That's right. It could be almost tomorrow. But you know what? In the meantime, I'm sure people are enjoying it. No, I will say this. It's an incredibly dark topic, an incredibly horrible topic, and it's incredibly interesting. That's why everybody is, they're going crazy. They can't get enough of it.
So the posts that he's making right now are very consistent with who he was when he was disgracing the Oval Office. This is someone who should be nowhere near any position of leadership. This is someone who is completely and utterly compromised, deranged. His behavior is so immature, and it just really, and just it's weird, and it's also very, very, very dangerous. Come on, America. We are so much better than this, but I wanted to share with you the distinctions, and you could ultimately judge for yourself how you feel. I'm Ben Meiselas. This is the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 3 million subscribers together. Have a good one.
It's Ken Harbaugh with the MeidasTouch Network. The film Against All Enemies, which I co-produced with Ben Meiselas and this network, has won awards around the world for its up-close portrayal of America's insurrectionist movement. It premieres in the U.S. on March 29th on Amazon and Apple TV. Go to againstalllenemiesfilm.com or click the link below. But don't just watch Against All Enemies. Tell your friends about it. It's one more way to hold accountable those who threaten our democracy. Thanks, Meidas Mighty. Let's use our power well.